Okay, so I'm going to try something here. It's a an exercise, and what I like to think of it as, um, I'm an improvisational, emotional player more than a technician. My sight reading skills are improving, but it's 50 years of trying. So one of the things I've discovered through playing music with my friends is and some really valuable lessons in music theory class back in high school in Pearl River with Jay Gerard as the teacher, and his music theory class has been indispensable. I have to say that, and it was his class that introduced me to 12-tone row, and essentially it works with all the notes on the piano. Uh, for example, starting on the C, you have 12 tones until you get to C again in the next octave. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those are the 12 tones, and then 13 is the octave. And in improvising, I've learned that rhythm and timing, not everything, but it's almost everything in delivering a note. Maybe everything in making a note a good note or a bad note. And I like this quote. I think it's Thelonious Monk. Could be Miles Davis. I can't remember exactly which. It was a jazz musician who said it, but there are no bad notes. There's just bad timing. And one way to see how you can have a harmony built on a note, just a padded note that's just singing itself or talking, making the note talk, right? So let's just stay with the C. And if you go through the 12 tones, we'll spread it out by an octave. You can see that any tone is workable with that pad of a note underneath it. For example, I'll just go through the 12 tones. You can see how each, what they call duads, each of these two tones, the pad, and then that comes up with it and above it, just in this little exercise can show you the feeling that's created by the tension or release of tension or amplification of a feeling that each tone has. And when we play, country music or even most forms of classical music, you'll have harmonies that are built, that's the C major chord in its first position, and then they have these inversions. First inversion, third inversion, and that's just where you start the chord in its particular scale. major minor scales being the most dominant ones that we commonly are aware of. But when you break free of those rules of harmony in those forms of music, then that's kind of where jazz picks up the slack in a lot of ways, and modern music, modern compositions, and different other areas of music or forms of music. But my draw is from everything. I mean, I like tribal music. I like jazz. I like frenetic jazz when when I'm really in the mood for something crazy music. I love classical music. I love rock and roll. I love classic rock and roll. I love really if it sounds good, it is good, and that's where I come from, and that's what I dig. But I over the years, I didn't have opportunity to play with people as much as I like, so I ended up playing solo by myself quite a bit, and as a result, I get bored with myself, but I learned that working with the 12 tones as a form gives us some interesting feelings. And for example, I never know where I'm going to go. I'm not going to be looking at the camera because I'm going to start paying attention to my hands, because I have to look at my hands still. Sorry. Anyway, so if you're padding a note, and it's more powerful when you have an octave pad like this. It's the same note, but an octave apart gives you that, substance. Yeah, right. So say I'm padding along, and I can develop something over top of it, right? So I started understanding that, oh, okay, I just went through a dozen chords or half a dozen chords, and I followed down the 12 tones with triads, and just kept that on the G pad. And to my ear, it all worked. It all worked. And I always used to crowd my piano playing, where I mostly played block chords because of my skill level when I'm jamming with people or rehearsing with people. And what I mean by block chords is so it's a crowded sound, but it can serve a purpose, right? It has its own feeling, and that's another thought that I had is each note has a feeling. And I started this thing. It's better on an acoustic piano, preferably a very expensive, well-tuned concert grand piano. There's nothing like it. I love a real acoustic piano, and but I also am constricted by a lot of things that having and maintaining and caring for such a piano is an expensive thing to do, and you have to have an environment that is suitable. So a Kurzweil 88 stage piano is where I've landed at this stage of my development, and it has weighted keys enough that give me the resistance that I love. I love a real piano, and the resistance that you get in the keys really helps you express the note. You know, it's like I get some of it, and these are what they called uh, semi-weighted keys for an electric piano to help me feel the density of the key, right? So the response is different on a, it was like that response is okay, and it was a medium touch, light touch, medium touch, hard touch. So I'm getting some of that dynamic, but on an acoustic piano is far more delicious. It's far more expressive and nuanced, right? What I wanted to do today is share one of my exercises, and that is each note has a feeling, all right? You know, I'm going to pick on A, middle A. And where does it want to go? You know, so I have to, I feel it and I think about it. Where does it want to go? Does it want to go there? Maybe, maybe not. We'll take it down an octave. What does it feel like? So what I might do is I might play, let's play an A minor against it. Let's create a pad. And then I'll catch a feeling, and right now I kind of worked through a few notes, and I landed on there, and that's where I'm feeling some tension. And then the game becomes, okay, I like that. Where does that note want to go? Where does the note want to go? And I came to this concept maybe 20 years ago. And that was after years and years of playing electric guitar and kind of mindlessly exploring the notes and opportunities involved in making music on an electric guitar. And in improvisation, you need to be able to resolve a note with good timing, so that a note that sounds sour can be purposeful. So there is no bad note, and I've really come to agree with that. If I change the voice, and that's another great thing about having an electric piano, you can change the voices on it, so you're not just stuck with an acoustic piano. And as much as I would love to be stuck with an acoustic piano, nothing like a Steinway grand stage, piano. Wow. Anyway, so one setting I like is I think it's the perk setting. Let's see, let's try this. That's a cool sound. So all notes, right? 12 tones. So what do you do with that, right? What do you do with that? Just keep it going. Try not to stop. and so on. So what I discovered is you can make things really sound good. And one way of putting it is you got to get lost in the music. You can't be afraid to make noise, because from the noise you can organize, some beautiful stuff. Another. Now, again, I started out with padding, and then I go to, instead of running the notes over the pad, I running the notes over the bass. So while that's going on, we can maybe pad chords. Well, what chords would work to that? Any. Check this out. I gotta change. Let me change the tone. It's too loud, so I'm gonna go back to piano. You get the idea. So I want to encourage everybody to get out there and that have a hard time with improvising, is to exercise these ideas of using every note good. Like I said, even if you do a run, say I'm just padding on a note. Develop a relationship with each note. And what I mean by that is they, because of the timing, where you insert them and where you don't insert them. And another thing is spaces, but that's another video. I'm going to keep this short, but I just wanted to share those ideas with you and get some feedback, see what you think. And okay, until next time. Over and out.